Connection, and today it's a very special interview with Molly because Molly channels the Enlightened one, and we're gonna talk about it a little later. So hi Molly.
Well, hello there, Christina.
I'm very excited that you're here, and thank you for finding time.
Yes, I'm excited too.
And it's pouring rain. We'll see how, because it's all information and integration probably through the rain and everything. So let's start with maybe tell us a little more about you, and then I'll ask you a bunch of other questions.
Me. Who am I?
Yes.
Well, I not only channel, I am a trans channel for the Enlightened one. We get into more details of how he came to me and how that happened. But I'm also an energy healer, universal white time healer. I'm also a psychic medium. I've been doing this for quite some time. I'm going to say at least 30 years.
30 years?
Doing the psychic medium.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And how I know the 30 years is because approximately about 30 years ago, I went to go see a psychic, like kind of on a whim. And I asked her, I says, I tell people things and they're real. And I said, what's happening? I don't understand that. She goes, oh, you're going to be doing what I'm doing. So that was like 30 years ago. It never even crossed my mind that I would even do anything like this at all. It kind of just went over my head. There was like, didn't believe it.
So basically just coming to you naturally.
Yes. Since I remember since I was 20s for sure. And I would just tell people things and they were true. And then I asked her and this is what she said, and I didn't believe it. I haven't really been practicing like I say I'm out of the closet psychic kind of thing. Maybe 15 years where I started doing things like publicly or announcing it. Prior to that, it was like, no, we don't talk about that.
Well, yeah, and I feel like the humanity wasn't really ready for it. Like 20 years ago, I feel like maybe like it started more being kind of like quote unquote not mainstream, but like more popular maybe 10 years ago.
Yes.
Because before it would be just like a little clusters of people, and then people would do things and be like, hush, you can't, because people would think you're crazy. And
oh, yes.
Stuff.
Well, so I really kept a lot of things to myself, and I just played with it for fun. And, I would practice psychometry, actually, is what I would do.
What is psychometry?
Is when you hold like a ring or a piece of jewelry and you get information off of that. That's how I kind of like practice. And so what I would do is like hold jewelry, ask the question, meditate on it, get the answer, and then give the message. So that's kind of how I practice. But it was just for fun.
Okay, awesome. So I'm gonna ask you my first official question.
Yes.
So please tell us a little bit more. What does it mean? What is really psychic medium, and how does the process works? Like, in your experience, like you just receive the downloads of information, or how your psychic medium, how your experience?
Well, I'll tell the story how I discovered that I was a medium. And it was about 15 years ago. And it's very interesting because I didn't even know that I could even do that. 15 years ago, I worked in a doctor's office. I was the phones, scheduling phones, transferring phones. And in the little office, we had 2 people at all times. And then so on a Monday, they hired a 20-year-old girl on a Monday. And when she came into the room to work, I kept feeling somebody around her. And they keep saying to me in my head, can you give her a message? And in my mind, I'd go, I don't do that. I just kind of dismissed it. But it happened every day. Even when I went home, this person, I could feel the words, you need to give her a message for me. And I could see him in my mind. Yes. I could see him in my mind. He wore like Levi's and a white t-shirt. He was a young guy. He was actually a young guy. And I kept saying, no, not happening. Ain't going to do it. I don't do that. Leave me alone, kind of thing. And so by Friday, I gave up. So Friday at noon, we turned the phones over. And so I turned the phones over. I just looked at her and I says, this has been happening. I could see what I could do. I don't know what's going to happen. Never did this before, but somebody keeps telling me there's a message for you. And she says to me, she goes, I've been waiting all week. I go, what? How could you be waiting for a message? She says, I had a dream, and they told me that you had a message for me.
Oh, man. Wow.
So she'd been waiting all week for the message. Turns out it was a brother that crossed over. And he just gave her some messages, and I was like, that's really my first experience with mediumship. And that was like 15 years ago.
Okay.
Since then, I do regular readings. I do, the tarot, angel cards, oracle cards, and I started doing that. And I noticed that as I was doing the readings that I could feel same thing, kind of feeling that somebody was around them or wanting to come through. And so I just started saying what came through, and it was a little accurate. Yeah.
So when you feel the other soul spirit presence, does it evoke in you any like fear or anything? It's just like you're born for it.
I'll be quite honest. I've never been in fear mode of what I do, especially the channeling part. When I channel, I feel very protected. There's no fear. I will tell you where the fear comes from. The fear of what other people are thinking is worse than the fear of what I do. I'm more afraid of people around me and what they're thinking. And I really had to let that go because that really hindered me in doing a lot of things by just paying too much attention about what other people thought, and I decided I had to let that go. I had to be who I am and what I do. I had to embrace what I do. I had to release all fears. And the fears were coming from other people. It wasn't coming from inside of me. I had a feeling of complete protection. I work a lot with Archangel Michael, so I always had known that he's around me. And about 10 years ago, he actually did appear to me in physical form. He was probably 10 to 12 feet tall. I saw him in a home that was
physical, like physical,
yes.
Like body, like this,
yes.
Or more like light.
No, he was actually physical.
Oh wow!
And how that came about was I had a friend that I was babysitting for, and she had a 2-story home, and she would tell me, she goes, at night I don't like to go downstairs. I get a creepy feeling.
Yeah.
So I said, well, just call in Archangel Michael. I use a blue light. Been using that for years and years. And I said, call on him. So the next day, when I went to go babysit, and I remember I had, the little boy was like a year and a half. So I'm walking him down the stairs, and I look to the foyer part, where the door is, and there's he's standing right there. And he was tall as the 2-story home. He's standing there, and I'm as I'm walking down the stairs, I'm all happy and excited, and I'm like, oh my God, you're here. I said, she must have called you. You're here. And then by the time I got to the end of the stairs, then he kind of just poofed out. Now I'm going to tell you something even crazier about that part is when I saw him, he wasn't looking the way that I perceived him to be in my mind. See, because he radiates to blue, so I'm thinking, when I saw him, he was more like a Roman soldier, like gold and red.
Gold and red, wow.
He was gold and red. And I didn't think about that for many years because I would never picture him in gold and red. It'd be silver blue or something of that extent, right?
Yeah.
So about 2 years ago, it dawned on me and I said, why did I see you in gold and red? And he said, if I would have gave you the image that you thought I looked, you would thought you were hallucinating and you wouldn't have believed it. He goes, I gave you something totally opposite, so you know that it was real. So it was done purposely.
Okay, wow. That's so cool. And I feel like he appeared in the, because think about it, if it would be just a regular building, like, right, but it needed to be like a tall place, and you coming down the stairs, so you're on the same level as his head at least, so you don't your encounter wasn't like you were on the bottom looking up, you were like on the same level.
Yes,
And
when I came down the stairs, yeah, there he was, right there where they meet. So he was just, so I couldn't even. I say 10 to 12 feet. It has to be a little bit more. He was huge.
wow,
Yeah,
that's so cool.
and
I
I know,
heard,
I normally don't see things outside of myself. I
yeah.
have, but they're very far and in between.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a regular thing that I see outside. I'm more, the psychic, visual, the clairvoyant is usually how I get the.
I think that this story is meant to be shared because we're gonna have more and more encounters with ETs, with angelics this year, I believe, and
Oh
then
yes.
so people kind of start wrapping their minds around that it's all real, it's not hallucination.
Exactly.
Get ready.
Yes. Well,
So,
one of my favorite Archangel Michael stories is,
mhm,
and because what we speak about is, let's say, spiritual, and a lot of people think because you don't see it physical that it's not real. But I will tell you, the spiritual world is the real world. The physical self. This is the illusional world.
exactly, yeah.
So
Which is hard to wrap your mind around
yes, it
too,
is.
because we're born in this and then we're waking up to the where we came from actually, right? Because we came from the
Exactly.
spiritual
Yes.
and we're just having this holographic illusion, and yeah, it's weird.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, one of my favorite Archangel Michael, because I've been working with him for 25 years or so. But one of my favorites is about 6, 7 years ago, I did a psychic fair. That's 10, 15 minute, very quick readings. And, um, and I remember I read for a 17-year-old girl. Her uncle brought her in. She sat down, and immediately I felt Archangel Michael. Because usually I feel like a swooping. Like when the energy comes in, it's like they're swooping in. And I go, oh, Archangel Michael's here. And then I heard him say in my mind, because it's like, he says, I prevented her from drowning.
Oh.
But I looked at her, I said, Archangel Michael said that he prevented you from drowning. He's not showing me how, when, where, or what happened. I said, when did you almost drown? And she said, yesterday.
Oh, wow.
I said, well, what happened yesterday that you almost drowned? She goes, I was going to drown myself. I was going to commit suicide.
Oh, wow. Oof.
See, that's how powerful the angelic realms are. Well, because she had purpose in life.
Yeah.
And they will intervene. And the message was that she had good things to do in the future in her life, and it wasn't time for her to go. So she got divine intervention.
And also, people believe that when they could like, if they commit suicide, that all the pain will be gone. But what happens, you just get rid of your body, the pain is there. And actually, what I was reading before, that because we have physical body, because we have this variety of emotions and the chakras and everything, it's actually easier to transmute trauma in a physical body versus in the non-physical. Then you're just looping, and then you can get stuck for like a very, very long time. And
when I do readings, I've done readings for a lot of people who their loved ones committed suicide. I've run into that quite a lot, and they always come through. I only had one instant where they didn't want to come through. I could feel like they were far away and didn't want to come through. I realized it was because they were still feeling that guilt. They finally did come through, when I kind of let them know that it's okay, and then they finally, but I only had one instant like that. But it's very true, Christine, what you're saying is because it's better to heal yourself prior to crossing over, and you can still be healed from the other side, but you're still taking your belief systems and what you're feeling, some of the trauma maybe, you're still taking it to the other side. But I'm going to say, from the other side, I think you get a higher perspective. Because when you're here in physical, you're only seeing part of the truth or part of the picture. I think what is on your side, though, when you cross over, is that you see a bigger perspective. You see the overall connections to everything. That includes, other past lives. That includes soul connections, soul contracts. So you kind of see the full picture. And then you can still analyze it from a higher perspective, so to
Mhm.
speak.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
But see,
Yeah.
there's still free will. So if you heal or not, that it's still something that you have to choose for yourself.
So let's say someone committed suicide. First of all, is the soul like, in general understanding, the soul, the ones who ended this life, they kind of get stuck in between lower astral
It's very
plane,
possible, yes.
and then
Yes.
they're just looping there, or they can like go directly to the source.
You know, it all depends, I think, on the soul and the soul's journey and what the experience, and not only experience from this life, but other experiences from past lives.
Yeah.
Or other. See, a lot of people think, well, we have past lives, right?
Yeah.
Or that, you know, but we don't realize that we've had lives in the spiritual realm too.
Mm-hmm.
So we're still.
Mm-hmm.
See, your true life is in the spiritual realm,
Mm-hmm.
the heavenly realm, whatever you
Are you
want.
talking about the other aspects?
Well, you have a life in the spiritual realm.
Mm-hmm.
So you're kind of like connecting physical past lives with your spiritual lives. And I think you get a bigger picture.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you have more information going on the other side. But the healing process is ongoing.
Mm-hmm.
And we're always learning, and it's always a journey, and we never stop learning. Yes.
But the beauty of physical bodies, I feel like, because we have all the senses and we can experience the touch, the fuzzy, the chocolate, the coffee, the like down depression emotions, and the cry and liberation and the laugh and love and all that stuff. Because when you don't have a physical body, I feel like you're a little more limited.
Yeah, you're limited to that. Yes.
To those.
Yes. That's very true. But the things that you describe, think about it. It's things that we experience on a day-to-day basis, and sometimes we don't appreciate it enough. Mm-hmm. We really need to appreciate more our physical forms. Yes. Absolutely. And appreciate the body that we're in. Because, you know, my understanding is that, you know, you're working in unison with your body. Mm-hmm. This is really important. And your body, you're so in sync with your body that your body is in tune to you and helps you heal also. Mm-hmm. If that makes sense.
Yeah, because a lot of people believe that body is you, right? And that's all it is. But if people would start looking from that perspective and be like, first of all, in this lifetime, you have only one body.
Yes.
Why don't you take care of it? You know?
Yes.
If you're not taking care of it, of course, you're getting all these different experiences, maybe not so good, but I mean,
well, you know, I have to say that when I was in my younger days, I didn't really appreciate my body like I do now. Mm-hmm. And there are times, this may sound silly, but sometimes I talk to my body and say, I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. I'm so sorry that I did not, you know, treat you as well as I should have. Mm-hmm. And you still took care of me. Yeah. And that's the most beautiful part, mm-hmm. you know, and I still have to thank it, you know, mm-hmm. because you know, you abuse it to some extent, and it still held up to the degree mm-hmm. that it did, mm-hmm. still taking care of you.
Yeah, mm-hmm. True. But again, when we're doing all those things, I was like, when I was, you know, I quit drinking like 6 years ago, but I would just go out and drink and party and eat crap and just do all the bullshit.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm talking about. Like in my 20s, my young days.
Yeah, but we're doing that without like probably there's a little awareness, but the fun, the scale of a little awareness and suffering, and then the quote unquote fun that you get from partying and everything, it's like, it's bigger, you know. And then, I mean, I don't regret anything because I experienced a lot of different mm-hmm. experiences, and it was all good and beautiful and mm-hmm. in its own way, you know. Yes. And I learned from it, and it's like, oh.
Well, yeah, you know, I do a lot of readings for like 20-year-olds, mm-hmm. you know, and it's like, what comes through is very strongly is, I think when you're 20, you should have a lot of fun. You know, that's a time not to get too, you know, committed. Yeah. You know, have fun because you know, you're only young for so long, and mm-hmm. and that's like your best years are in your 20s. I mean, you can still have better years, but mm-hmm. what I mean is, I think those are fun times. Yeah.
I think there's no that thinking of, there is no fear. You're like you know, taking more risks, not thinking about, oh, I'm taking a risk. You just do it, you know, just jump into the crazy situation.
Till you get older like me, and I'm.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, we want to be a little more cautious.
Yes,
you know,
more cautious.
Like jumping from, like, my roommate took me out for my birthday. We went to Sedona, and he's like, we went to this creek, and he's like, just jump from the rock in the water, and I'm like, no, I don't know what's under there.
Exactly.
Like, why should I just, you know, I'm gonna go swim around, explore it, and then I'll feel it if I want to do it or not.
Exactly.
I'm not just gonna be like.
But when you were younger, we would just take the plunge, right?
Yeah, yeah. Like, you want to jump from the rock? Yeah.
Now we're more conscious. Yeah.
Because we are taking care of our bodies.
Yes.
In that way.
Yes.
Okay, so let's switch gears a little bit, and then I would like to ask you a question about the trans channeling.
Oh yes.
And maybe if you can tell a little difference, but what is the difference between psychic medium and trans channeling for the viewers who are not familiar?
That's very interesting, because I think mediumship is able to connect with, you know, like those from the other side, or you know, you're just like the in-between person to some degree, like you know, for like loved ones, or even you know, angels or guides. You know, the same thing. You're still the voice. You're the medium. You're still the voice. Basically, the in-between person. That's the way I look at myself. But the trans channeling, you know, it's mediumship also, but I'm not there.
You're not as present as Molly.
Exactly.
They're using your body as like a radio signal receiver.
Yes. Otherwise, I feel myself. Here, I don't feel myself like in physical form at all.
So when you trans channel, where are you? Like, what do you feel?
Oh, this is the crazy part. Because a lot of people ask me that question, and it is so hard to describe. When I first start, I feel very present. I feel, well, you know, I would tell you, Enlightened has told me that I can be completely gone if I ever choose to be. And I said no. I want to feel like I'm partially a little bit there. He's given me the choice to be fully gone, and I never wanted to go in that direction. So when I first start, and you know, I get there very quickly. I only take 3 or 4 very deep breaths, and they're very deep that I could just feel it all the way. I have to go like all the way down, you know. When I first start, I think, oh, I'm in control. I'll hear everything. Oh my gosh, 10 minutes in, I start drifting away. You know, I think I'm in control, and then I find out I'm not. It's almost as though when I first start, maybe the first 10 or 15 minutes, I feel like I drift away, like I'm walking from one room to another room, where the conversation is going, but as I get further and further away, like I walk out, I don't hear. It's just distant. It's like I'm hearing a distant conversation. And you know what is so funny about that, Christina, is that I'm talking to myself while this conversation is going. This is so interesting, because I could still have, especially when I first started, I could still be talking to myself and still hearing another conversation. And
because he's using your body, but your consciousness is kind of like in another room.
In another room.
You're still processes going on.
And I could still kind of like have thoughts of my own sometimes, or I'll drift away in my own thoughts and not paying attention to this conversation. It's a very strange sensation. Now, also another thing about that is that when I first started, and I could still hear the conversation, he'll be talking about things, and in my mind I'm going, oh my God, don't tell me he's going in that direction. Oh my God, I can't believe he just said that. Because I wasn't used to a lot of the you know, not so normal conversations, and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe he said that. Oh my God. So I'm still having this conversation, but one thing also too that happens is that if he's describing something, I'm seeing it. As though I have like a TV or a monitor in front of me. So if he describes something, it doesn't happen all the time. If he describes something, I'm actually being seen what he's describing. So a lot of times he's described other planets, other life forms. I've seen the life forms. Yes, I've actually seen what he's describing. I'm actually viewing it like he's talking. I'm like, oh yeah, that's what you're talking about. I'm seeing a picture of it. Doesn't happen all the time, but especially if he's descriptive about something, he shows me what it is. Yes,
that's so cool. That's such a journey, man.
Should we talk about that I seen him in a physical also?
Yeah, let's talk about that. Yes. And then after that, maybe tell us more about like the relationship. You and him and who he is. So Mali is channeling the Enlightened one, but who he was in his previous past life and the connection.
Yes. It's kind of a long story, so I'm going to try to get to the quicker points. Well, since I'm a universal white time healer, I was working with a client of mine, and after the session, we usually go over some information that I receive when I do energy healing. And so I'm talking to my client, and then I feel a presence I could just feel it come and just stand next to me. So I told my client, there's somebody standing next to me. And he goes, well, ask who it is. Never thought about that, you know. I go, okay. So in my mind, telepathically, I was like, okay, who are you? Da-da-da. But what happened is, once I asked that question, he actually just started talking to me for an hour. And what he said was that at that time he introduced himself as Lemurian warrior, and he gave information about that life. And he said that he was working with me for at least 6 months that I'm aware of in my dream state, teaching me how to channel. And I know that's true because when I think back, I was having dreams of channeling. I was even waking up, sometimes sitting up and still talking. I even had dreams I'm channeling and levitating, which is so interesting.
Wow.
And so I realized, oh my gosh, he's telling me the truth. He's been teaching me how to do this, so it came automatically. It's not like I was taught in a physical way. I was taught spiritually. And so he had asked me to do groups, and I didn't find out later that he is actually Genghis Khan. He told me that if he would have said that I would have just thrown everything out the window, and I wouldn't have done any of it.
Yeah, because your identity, personality would block probably the information because your perceived knowledge of who he was. So he was kind of like guiding you in it.
Yes. So probably about 2 months after this encounter, and my client, we would actually practice. He would come over and we just started practicing it. And he wanted me to do groups. I didn't do groups for 10 years. I was too nervous. So about 2 months after that had occurred, I was watching TV. And a lot of people, when I do my groups, I explain how this occurred. I'm watching TV. My husband's in the other room, and through the side eye, I see a big giant figure to the side in the kitchen part. When I turned and looked, there's this big giant warrior person standing there.
1 second.
And what happens...
1 second, we're trying to connect.
Okay.
His energy is probably messing with the Wi-Fi.
Oh my goodness.
All right, we're back. Sweet. All right, so he's in the kitchen.
Yes, from the side I see a big giant figure. And so when I looked, he looked like a samurai warrior, basically. That's kind of what I thought at first. And so he actually came, and he didn't move in like this. He was here, and then he was right next to me. And when I looked at him, and then he just disappeared. So I would tell people that I seen him physically. And so they asked me, well, what does he look like? I go, oh, he looks like Genghis Khan. He looks exactly like Genghis Khan. So I would call him Genghis Khan just for fun. And then so I had a woman call me for an energy healing session. And I explained to her, I said, you know, I'm starting to channel. Do you want a sample? We can practice. She goes, sure. So when she showed up for her session, she told me that she was at Costco and was going to buy me a book. But she didn't end up buying the book. And so I said, well, what was the book? She goes, oh, it was a book on Genghis Khan. So, you know, my mind started going, well, this is interesting. I'm calling him Genghis Khan. You know, so where's the Genghis Khan connection? So we did some channelings, you know, with practice and stuff, and asked if that's who he was. He said yes. He said that he didn't give me that information because I would have thrown everything out the window. Now, I'd gotten this verified. So I was on a mission to find out if this truly was Genghis Khan. And probably about a year and a half ago or so, I did 5 QHHT hypnosis sessions with 5 different people. So I asked the same question, is he Genghis Khan, to each and every one of them? And the answer was always yes. And in one of my sessions, he actually spoke through me while I was hypnotized. So I got a little bit more of his story. So he explained that I was one of his wives, because he had a lot of wives, that I was his wife, and I had a lot of influence in what he did, but I did not use that influence. So it created kind of like a karmic thing for me. And so he explained that why we are doing this together is because it's a way of him paying back karmic and balancing out the life, because he, you know, he was known as a ruthless warrior. And he explained that what he did is because he wanted to save his people. He said that his people would have been banished, no trace of them would be known, because they would have been wiped out. Now, that's not an excuse, you know, that was just a way of thinking then, but that was like his purpose, was to conserve his civilization and his people. And so now we do this together as a way to balance out lives. But he did tell me that I could have been the spiritual one, he could have been the physical one, that I chose to be the physical one in this life. So it could have been vice versa. Could have been him. Isn't that interesting?
It is.
Yes. Yeah.
I wonder, so when he showed up, was he like super tall?
Oh, he was big. Even though he was probably as tall as the ceiling. Oh, he was big.
Oh, wow. So then my question is, because when you were talking about it, I had this thought trickling in. Was he connected to Tartaria in a way?
I never asked him that, but I have a very feeling yes, because I've been guided in that direction for some reason. I think there's a reason for me to be interested in that.
Because the history of Tartaria, apparently, as I understand, it's been completely deleted because they had these super advanced technologies and everything. These, if you look at the buildings, as I don't know, for example, in Paris, the cathedral, right? And it's according to the way the history was presented to humans, it's like, oh, it was with the hammer and chisel to create all this intricate, you know, design and so perfect. It's like bullshit. You know, they use the high advanced technology, but then I don't know if it was like the mudslide, the atomic bomb, whatever it happened, just wiped out the civilization. And then the remnants of, you know, some evidence that they were here, it's still
you know, while I'm in channel, people are able to ask them questions. Nobody's asked about that, so I think that might be a good conversation to go. Yes,
I have questions for him too, so.
I'm prepared. Well, you know, when I first started channeling, like I said, I was in fear mode of telling my family, of telling, you know, my husband. You know, I said, oh my God, they're going to put me in a crazy, you know, so that was more of the fear. I've never had fear about being in a channel state. I did have one experience where I couldn't come back.
Oh yeah, I heard that when you were like.
Yes.
So why was that? Why was the glitch?
Because the person that was helping me at the time, because see, my eyes are completely closed, so I need a helper in a group because I can't see hands, you know, or anything like that. Because he did not say his goodbyes to the group, and so they started talking and going on. They didn't let him say goodbye to the group.
Oh, so they just switched from channeling directly talking to people,
Yes,
and
yeah,
wasn't like closure of the
yeah.
channeling
There was no
process.
closure. So the minute the person quit talking, then he came through and said his goodbyes. But if somebody's helping me in a group, I say you have to let them say goodbye. And the funny thing about that, I felt like I was in limbo, but with my eyes closed, I could see the group. It was though my eyes were open. I was like I was there. My eyes are shut, but I could see the group. And that's happened a few times where I could see with my eyes closed. I did a one-to-one channeling for someone privately, and he said, "Oh, Archangel Michael's here standing next to you." I saw Archangel Michael next to that person with my eyes closed. So that's happened a few times. I don't know how that ever happens.
The consciousness. I have this thing too when I'm like, before I fall asleep, I start seeing kind of like different worlds.
Oh, yes.
So far, it's been more like kind of like black and white. Not really white, maybe like a beige, and not black, but maybe like dark brown, kind of like, and just having these like tapping into these experiences here and there, and then I guess I fall asleep. Yeah, but it's kind of like.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And then I also practice too, where I close my eyes and then it's all dark, and I do do this in front of my face, and I totally see my hand.
Oh, yeah.
With my eyes closed, and it's like, that's the energy thing, the way we're more tapping into that
because
process.
our consciousness is all around us. That's the way that I would put it.
Yeah.
But when I first started channeling, there's a few things that he did guide me in. I don't think I explained this to a lot of people. He said, "Be fearless." He gave me like 4 things. He says, "Be fearless." So anytime I feel nervous about channeling, I remember that. Or he says, "Help me be fearless." And then another thing he says, "Do not compare yourself to anybody else." Was the next thing he told me.
Yeah.
The next thing he told me was, he says, "You'll pass every test given to you." And then so when I started channeling, I thought, oh my gosh, people are going to ask him questions. I need to know everything about every subject. I asked him, I go, do I need, he goes, no. He says, because I said, do I have to investigate different subjects? And he said, no. He goes, if you want to investigate different subjects, go ahead.
Yeah. For you.
But that's for your own information.
Yeah.
He says, but it doesn't affect the information coming through, so I don't worry about it. Because, things had been asked I have no idea about, but he eventually will explain it. Yes.
When I paint and I write messages in the back of the canvas, I just allow the information come through. It's kind of like a mini channeling. And then when I read it, afterwards, I was like, wow. It's just so like, sometimes it's so complex and interesting. That's for my mind, my egoic mind, my personality. It's like, oh, I wrote that. It's kind of.
Well, what is interesting is that even prior, when I like I said, I'm universal white time healing. When I would work on people, I would get a lot of information on the person, past lives, information. So what I started doing while I'm doing my energy healing, I would put a pencil and paper next to me, because after I was done, I wouldn't remember. So I decided, I'll do a little snippets of what I'm getting to remind me. Well, they went to snippets, then they went to automatic writing. So now it's a regular thing that I'll do automatic writing during an energy healing session. And I've received automatic writing, angels, guides, ETs. I've gotten 2 famous people. that's another story.
Two famous people you were doing the energies healing session, or they came through?
Well, they came through.
Oh.
I was doing an energy healing session on a woman. I know I don't mention this a lot. Nostradamus came through.
Ooh. Ooh.
And he came through because he said that my client was a student of his, but not astrology student or something like that. A medical student. Wasn't even connected to what he did. It was a medical, because he was a doctor, so it was like a medical student or something to do with the medical part of him. It wasn't the other way around.
Wow.
And then I've gotten Edgar Casey come through.
I don't know who's that.
Oh yeah, you're too young for that. Well, you'll have to look it up. Edgar Casey. I would get a few from Edgar Casey, and actually
Edgar Casey.
Edgar Casey.
Oh, Edgar Casey.
Yeah, he was known as a sleeping prophet.
Okay, I'll look him up.
He passed over like 1945 something. So this is a quite long time ago. And actually, I still have one of the messages that I copied from one of the sessions. It's very interesting. I should bring those in one day.
You know what would be cool? If you would have the collection of all these messages and have it in a print, like have a book.
You know, I'm so sad because I would write these messages and then give them to the person. And I never made copies.
Okay.
And I'm so, I only saved a few, yeah. Which I regret, because that would have been great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it could be, now we're talking, we're putting this information in the ethers, and next thing you know, you run into these people and be like, hey, do you have the writing? They're like, yes. They're like, can I borrow it? Or,
yes, I never thought about saving them. You know, I just have a few.
Yeah.
You know. I have one from Edgar Casey that I did actually copy, because it was so crazy.
The interesting thing is that, not interesting, but the easier way to handwritten stuff, what I tried with my stuff, instead of, let's say, I have questions written now by hand and then type it up, I just put the ChatGPT over it and it gives you in type. I was like, yes, it saved me so much time.
I really gotta learn that.
You just literally
I'm not technology
You
savvy.
just turn on the ChatGPT, put the camera over this and type it in. Give me all this information and typed up. It does, but there could be a little glitch in it because this is your handwriting and I don't know where AI is going. So you're giving away your information.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So that's, you know, but it was very helpful in that way. It saved me like probably 2 hours of.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Yeah,
I gotta learn how to do that.
So that's for, okay. Let's make a mental note for the channeling writings to put together. Okay. So yeah, I had the question, did you have any special training for developing psychic medium skills? But we already discussed that.
Well, you know, that is so funny. I tell people I'm very self-taught. Because, you know, in my early stages, I was always interested in psychic, even as a teenager. Even in grade school, I would go to the libraries and get metaphysical books and things like that. I was always so interested in it. So I don't recently read, you know, metaphysical books anymore. It's like I'm more on hands trained. Does that make sense?
Yep.
I think I learned more things from hands-on doing and doing readings, doing that. And basically that's how I learned.
It's because you're integrating and embodying that experience right away. Because when you read, it's just more like mental processing. But like when you do hands-on, it's just boom. I like that part too. I like reading too, but
I'm gonna say, you know, I'll tell you very interesting because I've encountered interesting things, and I find out that Spirit's been teaching me as I go along, hands-on teaching. Now, I'll tell you this one, because this is very interesting. This happened like 10 years ago. When I was doing energy healing, I would have a woman come once a month to me, right? And so while I'm doing the energy healing, sometimes I'll pick up past lives and things like that. And so I'm working over her, and I come to like the mid-session, then I hear the words, because, you know, I'll hear words. And the word said, uh, she has a life as a missionary in Africa,
Mm.
right?
Mm. Mhm.
Right? So in my mind, I say back, I go, oh, so she had a past life as a missionary in Africa. And I got a hard no.
No,
Like,
from her?
no, from spirit. They said no.
Oh.
I'm like, and I'm like, no. And then spirit said, it's happening now.
Ah. Ah.
So 10 years ago, they taught me that you
Uh-huh.
can have multiple physical experiences
Uh-huh.
simultaneously.
Oh, okay, I got it. Okay.
So
okay,
they were
okay.
telling me, no, this is not a past life. This is happening now.
So it's a basically like parallel reality?
Yes. Well, existing in a physical at the same time. It wasn't parallel.
Oh,
She actually had
Mhm.
another aspect of herself in a physical form in Africa.
Mm. So that could be what I heard, and I was told I'm the case too. I don't know. If your soul is pretty big and advanced, you can be operating with from several physical bodies. So I guess that's her.
Yes,
that's her thing.
Well, see, I learned this 10 years ago because that was the way of spirit teaching me that this is possible.
Mm-hmm.
So that's first I heard of that.
Mm-hmm.
So in my mind, see, spirit also taught me is that you say everything that you get. If I do a psychic reading on you, a mediumship reading, I do not hold back.
Mm-hmm.
Because spirit says you do not edit.
Yeah.
This is not your place.
Mm-hmm.
So even if something sounds crazy or nuts, I still have to say it. This is not for you to judge the information.
And it's gonna trigger. Sometimes it's like, I think I'm doing kind of like when I talk to people, I read information not by like consciously, it just happens, and it just sometimes floodgates open and just information comes through.
Yeah.
But the information comes through for them, and it comes as a form of truth. But often they get triggered, and then they turn that information against you, and then you know what I mean? It's like,
oh, I know what you mean.
You're like a bad guy, but it's like, dude, I'm a messenger, you know?
You're a
it's
messenger,
like, well, you take it or leave it,
Yes.
you know? So I guess maybe sometimes it's like good to say before your like information start flooding, be like, okay, this is information for you, take it or leave it.
Yeah,
I'm just
and I always ask now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in the beginning I would, and I went, no, I'll ask.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, going back to the simultaneously living in a physical, and so I'm taught I have to tell her this information, right? I'm nervous, so I saved it for the last. So I said to her, I says, you know, they said that you have a past life, but it's not a past life. Because I thought she was going to think I was crazy. It's not a past life, saying that it's happening now, currently. You know what her answer was? I know.
Oh, okay.
So I said, well, how do you know? Well, see, this woman, I didn't know, she would meditate for an hour every morning. She goes, they told me when I was meditating, so I already know.
Cool.
So she already knew. And it's like, it was, and here I was afraid that she would be shocked that I'm telling her this information. But so we can be having other aspects of ourselves simultaneously, you know, on this earth and don't even know it or realize it. But I think if you go in a meditative state, you can tap into, see, the meditation is the key to everything.
Yes.
Because you're connecting to your God self, your higher self, and your higher self knows everything. So I tell people, they say, well, how do I connect with God? How do I connect, you know, with my loved ones? How do I connect with spirit? How do I develop my psychic ability? I says, the core is meditation. You must go within. And that's funny because when I would read Edgar Cayce books, I was reading Edgar Cayce when I was like early teenage years. He said, if you do not, and I've always remembered, he said, if you do not go within, you will go without.
True.
And that was for meditation. And people think, oh, meditation, you just go into this mindless bliss. But you can accomplish so much with an intent and ask what you want to see, what you can see your own. I've seen my own past lives in a meditative state. You can connect with spirit. You can converse with spirit. You go straight to God if you want to. You're not in mindless bliss.
And sometimes it could be that you go in a timelessness in the meditation, and you receive so much, and then here when you look in linear time, oh, it's been only 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And it comes
Well,
in as
exactly, because I was told by spirit, because that's who's taught me, said that when you're in a meditative state, you raise your vibration to a high vibration, that you're radiating higher than what's outside of yourself, so you can actually create a different reality, just being in that state of being in a high state of vibration, that you can go in and out of what we consider to be time, and out of time. So it's very interesting.
So you can create a different reality in meditative
Oh,
state,
yes, you can.
and then you can collapse it into this physical reality.
Oh yes, you could be, because you radiate when you radiate high vibrationally, then you're matching other realities that are in that vibration, because all vibrations have to match.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And the only thing that's even separating us from physical and spiritual is vibration and energy anyway.
Sure.
It's like increments of different, yes. And people ask me well, I always use the answer if they ask me, like, how many realities, how many timelines, how many, this, I always say infinite, because it is infinite. I said anything that pertains to God or God consciousness, it's always thinking infinite terms.
But our mind cannot comprehend it. Because
Exactly.
we are programmed.
Exactly.
We're limited in a sense.
Yes. But once you realize that you can overcome that with intent, or it has a lot to do with your spiritual path too. We're not all here to experience certain things. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in that case, if it's infinite, in my mind, it's like, well, what's the point then? If it's all infinite, everything available, blah blah, you just can. In that case, you just narrow it down and pick and choose whatever you want to experience basically. Right now.
And that's what we're doing. We're picking and choosing the experience in an infinite world, or infinite, So that's so interesting, isn't it? Oh my goodness gracious.
Yeah. What I am understanding, that our bodies now being upgraded, and even our processing machine called brain is being upgraded, so we can comprehend these concepts better. Yes, and it just becomes easier and more natural to us.
Oh yeah, a lot is going in. A lot to talk about that. That would take another hour.
I have questions for the Enlightened one about that. So let me see. I have a question. Do you think that everyone can be a channel?
Okay, like I believe everybody is intuitive, everybody's psychic, but there's different levels. Because I believe that's the God part of us. That's the ability that we have, because we are an aspect of God in my belief system. So everybody has it, but yet everybody has different levels. It's like everybody can sing, but not everybody can sing like a famous singer.
True.
That's what I mean by levels. I think maybe I have a higher degree because that's my life purpose, or what I'm here for. So that's maybe why it's a little bit higher than normal.
Yeah, because if someone is a mechanical engineer, they're probably more interested in a physical building instead of channeling spiritual.
Yeah. So I think everybody's capable of it, and I think if you're here and that's your life purpose, then I think it's more natural to some extent. But I think everybody can build it up, or recognize it, or intent, or tune into that. And how do we do that? Meditation, correct?
Yeah.
It's meditation. You can't get away from meditation. And I tell people that, For some reason in this spiritual realm, sometimes it's like a bad word, but it's the only thing that really connects you to everything. Yes. Yeah.
And there's the difference, the word meditation and medication. There's only one difference in one letter.
I know, because sometimes I want to say meditation, I do say.
So it's a true medication is meditation.
Really is. No, it really is. Yeah. Because I would meditate for hours at a time. When I first started, I really would tune in. Yeah. Now I feel I do, but not the way I used to, because I feel like I connect very easily.
Yeah, you're in a meditative state basically all the time, in a sense.
Well, I tell people think that I'm on all the time, it's almost like I can turn it off and on,
Mm-hmm.
you know, when I need to be,
Mhm.
you know, because you can't be on all the time. I can.
Yeah. What I
but-
mean that your access to the channel
Oh yeah.
is always there, and you can tap in whenever
Oh yeah.
you want.
And it's very quick.
Instead of because you already been trained for it, but
Yeah.
like people who, let's say, are more in the beginning stages, they need to go and, you know, meditation till they receive that process, how everything works.
Exactly.
But then
Exactly.
when you were a pro, let's say, then you can meditate. You're like standing in the line in a grocery store, and you're like, bloop, you can just meditate with your eyes open for like a couple minutes if you desire to.
Well, you know what is funny? People are surprised that when I do channel that I can go very quickly.
Mhm.
Very quickly into the channel. It's like so natural to me. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Very quickly.
Okay, so I asked you that question about the Enlightened One, who he is and everything. And then I think, do you want to add anything from your perspective, or we should switch and call in the Enlightened One?
Yeah, we can call him then.
Yeah. Do you need a little break in between? Yeah? Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So, do you need to use the restroom?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Because, you know, it's funny is because in groups,
Mm-hmm.
I have had to use the bathroom because the longest I channeled was 2 hours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The body needs some.
And sometimes, which I normally don't go, it's usually an hour and a half is where I like to go.
So we've been on for 56 minutes. So we've been talking for an hour.
Wow.
Let me turn. Not gonna take it off. I'm gonna turn it off. Your mic. So people who are watching, take a little break. I'm not gonna.
You know, like I was saying, when I'm doing the groups and I have to use the restroom, he'll release me.
Yeah.
He'll announce that I'm uncomfortable,
Mm-hmm.
and he'll let me go. But he says, he goes, "I will put you in deeper." Actually, if I have to be released and come back, he puts me in a deeper state.
Gotcha.
Okay. So
All right, mic is off, so no one needs to hear you peeing.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So,
Oh, good.
You go ahead.
Oh, yeah. You hear that trickle?
I'm just gonna
Okay, that's fine.
entertain everybody,
Okay,
and then
that's
we're gonna ask questions to the Enlightened One, and this is very exciting. I am very excited for that because I have some cool questions for him. Yeah, and stay tuned. Take a couple minute break. I'm not gonna turn off the camera. Yes, I have good questions in terms of general questions. What should we expect as humanity for this year, and other things too. So, yeah. You can just watch me sitting. Actually, I'm gonna turn off my phone.